everyone. Welcome. The Grieving Sisters, and we have a special guest. And welcome to episode 4.
We have 2 Jessicas here today.
Yeah. 2.0. Here we go. So Jessica, Liz, and this is episode 4. We're going to be talking about vicarious grief, which was brought up by Jess. And, it was a part of our lineup of episodes that we wanted to talk about. But before we get started, I have a really funny story. First of all, can I just tell you that we have 2 famous people here? I've never done anything on TV. Let me just say, you got this one on Room Raiders, okay? But this one, let me just tell you, I'm sitting there, I'm doing my undergrad, I'm minding my business, cleaning my house. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I just walked past the thing, and Maury is on, and I'm like,
Maury.
Is that Jessica? And I go, wait. So now I don't have anything to rewind it because it's regular TV. We weren't there yet. We were getting there. Like, they were just switching over to, like, that DVR, like, to record. And I'm like, nah. I go, let me sit down. And I'm looking at the TV, and I text her. I go, are you doing reenactments for Maury? And you were like, yeah. I go, you were just on my TV screen. Did you get to meet Maury? And I had like 1,000 questions.
Oh my God. I hope no one ever finds this.
I did. Out of all the episodes. And I text her and I'm like, yo, Jess, you're on my screen. What's going on here? So I had to tell the funny story. Sorry. I'm going to put you on blast.
Good.
All these famous people.
So it was one of the first things that I did. And the person that was whose story it actually was pregnant. And her boyfriend was cheating on her. She didn't know he was cheating on her. And then the girlfriend that was the mistress got really jealous and tried to kill
the pregnant
woman.
Yeah.
And so shot her twice, once here and then once in the belly.
Oh my goodness.
And so I played the pregnant woman.
I was like,
that got shot twice.
Oh my God. I need to find it.
It is. I'm not going to lie. I try to look because I was going to put this in there. There's no pictures of yours and there's nothing. I couldn't find anything on yours. I was like, you girls are so lucky.
My mom has the recording of Room Raiders.
Oh, I love that.
To get it.
Oh, that's so funny.
I thought you were going to mention like the dictator or something.
Oh,
No.
I had to bring up the Maury episode. But yeah, so you see, we have to keep it light. Like, that's just me. And, these girls have known me for a very long time. And that's all we do is laugh. I did get most humorous. I think I still have that award. But, I just to bring some life to it, because this is about to get like, I don't want to say a little heavy, but, tell us a little bit about what you do and what you did and how you supported people, throughout their grief.
Okay, so currently I have I guess you could say 3 jobs, right?
Yeah.
I'm a mom.
A mom is number 1.
So that's a big job right there.
Yeah.
Also, I work with Simple Marriages, which is a company my dad started. Oh. So we do elopements, people who want to get married but don't want to spend like $50,000 on a wedding type of thing. But we also do funerals.
Wow.
So, my dad has done one where somebody wanted to have her ashes spread in the ocean.
Oh, wow.
So they they chartered a whole boat, and he went out and he read something and scattered her ashes for her.
Wow. And your dad was able to stay serious.
And he was able to say, yeah, cause if you know.
I met him the first time, and he was a character, and I was like, okay, we're best friends. We are so besties. Yes. He's so funny. He's a funny man.
I think I'm pretty blessed in that way. All of my friends that have met my dad, they're all like, I love your dad.
Yeah. He's awesome.
But he stayed serious, kept a straight face,
Yeah.
Wow. But my background is I did for almost 10 years, I was a rape crisis counselor and outreach educator. Wow. And so part of my job was to go to like high schools, grammar schools, universities, workplaces, and give presentations on whoever I'm talking to. So like if you're talking to kids, you really focus more on like sexual harassment. Yeah. And once they get a little bit older, you can go into like the sexual assault, because let me tell you, the things that kids are doing is wild.
I don't even want to know.
No, you don't.
No, I don't want to know.
But, I also went into like the jail, the juvie and the carny jail. And so we would focus on like healthy relationships and things like that. Grief often came up in those situations. And then one of the reasons that I reached out to you is after watching your podcast, it made me think about something that I've experienced a lot, which is being like close to somebody who loses somebody. So for example, my husband lost his dad and his brother.
Right. Right.
His brother, I never got to meet him.
Sure.
But how do you're super saddened for the person that had the loss.
Right.
To the point of tears even, let's say, right? Sure. But I feel like that often, like, you don't know how to maneuver that, because some people will view that, and like if you start crying, they roll their eyes. It's like, oh, why is this person like, they never even met the person. Right. And it's not my loss per se, right? His dad, I did meet him, and I loved his dad, but it's not my dad.
Right.
Like, I can't compare the grief in that aspect. I have also had a lot of loss. I just want to say that as well. Like, I am really blessed. I come from a very big family. You guys know a lot of my family.
Yes.
But it's a blessing and a curse, right?
Sure.
Because a big family means frequent loss.
Yep.
And so I was very blessed. I met my grandparents. I met all of my grandparents. Wow. I met a lot of my great-grandparents who have, at this point, have all passed away.
Wow, yeah.
But I met them, like, I'm talking, like, into my teens.
Wow.
So, like, there was, like, a real relationship there.
Right.
I have had cousins or, even friends from high school that we went to.
Oh, my gosh.
We have lost a lot of friends.
A lot of people. Wild. We actually have an episode about that, just losing a lot of our school friends, although, like, I feel like it was right after high school, like right after we graduated, it was like one after the next, the motorcycle, this, it was just like bam, bam, bam. And it was just like, I started to become numb to it. Like going back to like anticipation grief, like summer came around, and that July, that feeling came around, and I'm like, well, who's going to die this summer?
Mm-hmm. It does feel like every summer we lost somebody, right?
Yeah. And it's like, either if it wasn't from our graduating class, it was like the class above or the class below. But we were just I just feel like our class it was very different. We were still close-knit. Even if you didn't like the person, it was still like we were close-knit. I don't know. I just feel like we just have that camaraderie, thankfully, But just going back to what you were saying, like just the grief portion of it, there's just so many different avenues of that grief. What did you experience when you like were going to the jails, and you said that like it was that this grief was brought up? What was that about?
I mean, there was so many different situations, right? So there was like a guilt grief, because we dealt with a lot of women who killed like their abusers, but their abusers were like people that they loved.
Sure.
And so, they did this in like self-defense, which apparently in New Jersey is not a real thing. And so now they're in jail for, I know, Jersey, right? That's a whole other conversation.
Sure.
But, they're sitting there and they're talking about this, and it's almost like it's difficult for them to reconcile the person that they love with the person that harmed them. And now, because they defended themselves, they're there. Right. So they're like grieving them, but they're also grieving their own life that they just lost in this process.
Right. Just to defend themselves, to get out of there, to get out of that. So how do you feel like, there's a way to have like empathy and then emotional absorption. How are you able to kind of distinguish that? Like, how are you able to balance that?
It's hard. I think that, like I was saying before, you really need to also take the time to get to know the individual a little bit, because not everybody responds well to what you're trying to do. Right. Some people don't want to be questioned. Right. Some people don't want to talk about it. Other people, they feel like, well, why aren't you asking me more? So you have to really take it like a person by person, day by day type of thing. Right. And kind of almost give what you're getting. But to your point, I have had the people who are overwhelmingly, I don't want to say needy, because that just sounds mean to say, but the people who just like really want you to be with them and in it every day, and it's like,
you got to set that boundary. It's just too much.
It is. It's draining.
It's when they're just like dumping on you. Yeah. And I can actually say for myself, I did that to a few people when Sean passed. Like, I had a couple of best friends, and it was heavy, and they didn't know what to do with it, because they're like, I don't know what to do with it. You need to go to therapy. And I'm just like, well, I'm in therapy, but you're my friends. Like, I don't know how to handle this. Like, I'm just looking for support at this time. And some of them just really could not handle it was very heavy. And I recognized that, and obviously, like, apologized and whatever, and grew from that. But I can definitely understand that.
Yeah. It's hard, because you want to be there for the person, and you don't want to be like, I don't think I ever really expressed like you're too much to anybody.
Yeah.
It's not in my character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just kind of like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'm here, I'm listening.
Yeah.
But I would notice that there would be nights I couldn't sleep because I was wondering if they were going to like hurt themselves because they were so grief driven. Sure. I was really concerned about what was going to happen next, and I would just be constantly like, hey, are you okay? Hey, you know, and then I became the person that was enabling that behavior.
Yeah.
And so in retrospect, I think you're right. There has to be a way to set that boundary. Right. But it's, like I said, it's a situational thing.
Right.
Because I know I've reached out to you a bunch. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'm bothering you or...
No, not at all.
I said that to you too.
I think everybody has that where they're like, am I triggering... Right, this is a really important topic because it's like, you see somebody in pain and you want to be empathetic to them. Right. You don't want it to be heavy on you, but then you also don't want to make it heavier to the person, right? So I totally get that. Right. And then it's like, you know, right, you're like hitting me up and it's like, maybe she wasn't thinking about her sister right now. Am I making her thinking about her sister? Right. So I get that too. You know, I can't remember if I've been responsive or not. I think
you have, but it's been like, I'm good.
Right. I'm like day by day, once in a while, you know? Yeah. I think that social media is important in that sense where it's like when I'm ready to share or provide an update, I do that. Yeah. And then I get a response from that. And then that's when I'm in... Like, that's when I'm in a place where I can talk about it. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Because it's like at the moment that somebody reaches out may not be like the moment where, or maybe I'm like in a really decent place or I'm really busy at work or I'm something with the kids or I'm really in a dark place and I don't want to like add to it. Yeah. But yeah, I think what we're talking about is like being there for people and being emotionally available without absorbing all of it is really important. And I'm sure, you know, what you did with all the like rape survivors, I'm sure that there was just like, how do you not go home and think about it all the time? Yeah. And also it's an anxiety trigger. Absolutely. Like I have a friend who's like, I've had a lot of anxiety driving after knowing that, you know, your sister died in a car accident. Like, I have to be really, like, she feels like she has to be hyper vigilant and over alert because she's got kids in the car. And she's like, should I drive with them? Should I not drive with them?
And then especially in New Jersey because everybody's a maniac.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And she's like, you know, she said, like, can I tell you something? Like, I have been terrified to drive, knowing what happened to your sister. And that's her, like, absorbing the anxiety, the pain. Yep. She was at the wake. She saw everything. Right. So it's like when you're there for somebody, sometimes you kind of absorb all of the stuff. Yeah. Right. So what else do you think sort of helps people not absorb as much?
I feel like, you know, start with what like Jess was saying, you want to try and keep it light a little bit. Yeah, keep it light. And it's a delicate balance because you don't want to keep it so light that you feel like you're being insensitive. Right. But you don't also want it to be so heavy. I mean, it's something that as an outreach educator, I did quite often when I would talk about rape and sexual assault and things like that.
You became numb to that.
To an extent, I did. Yeah. I became really numb to, like, you can tell me about it, and I'm just kind of like, I'm good, and I'm listening,
and I'm not gonna like visceral reaction to it. Correct. Versus like heard about so many times.
Right. Yeah. My first case was so traumatizing. It was a young girl and her dad, and I'm a daddy's girl, like to the T. Right. So like I couldn't understand how a dad could do that. Right. But the thing that threw me the most was the mom was like, I don't believe her. She's a liar. Yeah. And I mean, you know, my very Latina mom, if I were to tell her my dad touched me, there would be zero questions.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
And so I couldn't fathom that. And then down 8 years, you tell me that, and I'm not shocked.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's been so much.
And then it's actually been very consistent. I've read and, you know, just even an experience with, you know, professionally, you're hearing that and it's so consistent on the news. It's more common than it's more common now too.
I mean, statistically speaking, like this is something that I used to teach, and it's like once every 2 minutes someone's raped in the U.S. Right. It's like every 2 minutes. Think about how long this podcast is. Right. How many like people are there. Yeah. And people don't talk about it every day. Or, you know, there's like a powerful thing that we used to do sometimes that a lot of people will do, especially at the end of the vagina monologues.
Yes, I remember you used to do that.
They would like say, hey, stand up if you know somebody who's been assaulted, or if you yourself have been assaulted. And people would be shocked how many people in the room would stand up. Right. But no one talks about it.
No.
Which is again, like grief, right?
It's taboo.
Like, stand up if you know somebody that, that passed away, or if you yourself have lost somebody, and you'd probably have the entire room stand up.
For sure.
But nobody talks about it.
Right. Everybody's carrying this like hidden grief.
Yeah. We talked about that, the invisible grief. And then it's like you either, I feel like what's really good is that we hold the space, but we're not going to carry the weight.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to kind of like focus on, that, like not taking that with us. Right? Like we can take their memory maybe with us, or like their beautiful story, but just like that weight of that grief, it's not ours to hold. It's theirs to work through and heal through.
Yeah.
And we're just here for that support.
Yeah. And to your point, like for me, 8 years into it, I feel like I emotionally tapped out. It became to the point where every time I had a situation, a case, I would go home and dream that I was that person in detail, because let me tell you.
Because you have the details, right?
I have all of the details. Like, they need to know how you got from point A to point B. You can't just go in there and be like, he touched my flower. Well, what's your flower? Well, how did he get there? You know what I mean? It's like, I need to know all the details, and I'm there for all of it. I'm there for the forensic examiner. I'm there for when the detectives are doing it again. It's, I would go home and...
That's traumatizing to them. Because they have to relive it over.
Traumatizing to them.
They have to relive it over and over again.
I mean, that was one of the things that I would say as an advocate.
Right.
The very first thing that you should do, or at least what I would do, is I would walk them through the whole process.
Right.
This is what's about to happen.
Right.
It is very difficult. It's going to make you very uncomfortable. It almost makes you feel like you're not being believed.
Right.
Because they have so many questions.
Right.
But like, you can't, if you were, for example, if you were smoking weed or something like that, you can't leave that out because you're embarrassed.
Right.
You have to be honest and be like, well, we were smoking and then this happened. Right. But with those cases, even though like I could leave them at home, right? Because I don't do like the long-term therapy. I'm there for the crisis moment.
Right.
It was, after a while, I guess, easier for me to disconnect versus somebody that I know lost somebody, but now you see them all the time. And it's like, well, when should I stop asking if they're okay?
Right.
When should I stop checking in on them? Because, you've said this before, grief is like forever.
Right.
I know I was mentioning I've had a couple miscarriages, and on like their due dates.
Yes.
It's very emotional for me.
Right.
Thinking like my baby would have been born now.
Right.
And I don't expect anybody else to carry that.
Right. The dates. Right. We talked about the dates.
Yeah.
And then having that when the sympathy runs out. We just talked about that in the previous episode. A lot
of people feel that, and I had a miscarriage as well, and I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, you got two beautiful babies. You have two kids too.
Yeah.
It's like, just because you've had these rainbow babies doesn't mean that you don't mourn.
Exactly.
The baby that could have been. Like, I think about it often, how like, oh, CJ, you would have, actually you would have had a big brother or sister, because we were just before the gender time.
Right.
But it was just like, these things stay with you, for a long time. But a lot of times you go through it alone because other people don't understand, which is why these conversations are
so important.
You know what I gotta say? I love kids and how they deal with grief.
Right.
Because so resilient.
Yeah.
My daughter once had a dream that she had a sibling, and she woke up and she's like, I had a brother. And I was like, did you? And she's like, yeah, but he's an angel now. And I when I tell you that I just
the hairs up. Yeah.
And she mentions all the time her angel siblings.
Wow.
And how she can't wait to get to heaven to meet her siblings.
Girl, no, you better chill out. You got some things to do here, girl.
Forward,
Yes.
But
they have a very good relationship with heaven because of, your religion and how tapped in they are to their faith. So.
Yeah.
So like when she's sad and she misses her abuelito, for example, we'll let's say a quick prayer.
Yeah.
And like she'll talk to him in prayer and she'll be like, hey, I love you, I miss you, I hope you're having fun with Jesus.
Yeah.
But it's so innocent.
Sure.
And I'm not sure when like your miscarriage was versus like mine. Like mine was after my first daughter.
Mine was before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So having her, I felt like was a really beautiful distraction for me.
Yeah. Sure.
Because she doesn't care that you're sad.
Right.
She still needs to eat and she still wants to play.
And what did I say? They will keep you present.
Yeah.
They will keep you present.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids are such a good tool during grief.
Yes.
It's hard that you have to care for yourself and for the and for like another person.
But it's also a blessing.
But it's such a blessing because it's like, you know, you'll be like in this moment and Liv will be like, I ran out of hair gel. And you're like, well, I guess let's go to Target. And then maybe on the way to Target, you see like like the beautiful foliage or something, you know, and you're like, or the weather's really nice. And it's just like, they kind of remind you to have like some fun or enjoy little things, right? Because you can get really deep into your, you know, like I do feel like the kids are like, you're so tired all the time. Like even
they're picking up on it.
like even when we were recording the last episode, she was like, we have to go buy dog food, and she was like, or maybe we can go out if you're not too tired. So I'm trying to be mindful of like not just getting sad and like laying down, because that's my go-to. I'm just like, that's how I kind of like decompress. But like trying to be like, okay, let me learn from the kids, because they just keep going. No matter what, they keep going.
And it's like you said, you don't want them to absorb that.
No.
You know what I mean? Especially if they're not in that, because that, especially for like, I feel like teenagers can become depression and become other things.
That's true. I think that's a really good question. Like, how do you hold space but not absorb it? And it's kind of like, look at what kids do. You know,
we
cry,
always learn from them.
My son will put a hand on me, and then they find ways to kind of get into other things, you know?
But that's what it is. We learn from them. We always do. We always have to revert back and learn from them, because they're the ones that they have the answers for some reason, you know?
So you love your funny stories. So Aurora had a friend whose mom passed away. I don't know if she was a lesbian or if she was a stepmom or whatever, but Aurora's like, yeah, her mom died. It was sad. But she had 2 moms, so it's okay. She still has one.
Oh, my goodness. The innocence.
Yeah, it was innocence. So like, she still got one. She had a backup one, and I'm like,
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yes, baby.
Like, I suppose.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening in. Jessica, thank you so much for being here. You know, and thank you guys again for your support. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
We're everywhere. Give us 5 stars and reach out. Please. Like, we love the community. We love the conversations that are coming up. We all know somebody who has been dealing with grief. We all know somebody who, you know, has experiences on getting through it in a healthy and positive way. And that's what we want to shed more light on.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.